This is something I get asked about a lot, and it is how should beginners price their work? And the reason I get asked about this is because although this is my YouTube channel, we do education, we do coaching, all the rest of it, I'm actually a professional photographer with a different name elsewhere. Long story. Pricing your work as a beginner is often the subject of shame. I struggle to say that there. It is something which people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't be working for free, or you're price cutting, or you're ruining the industry. Ignore all of those people. Listen to this advice. It is golden. It is not what I did. I did all the bad stuff. This is the good advice. This is what will get you through. When you're pricing your first job, it'll feel like the biggest deal in the world. My first job, I charged £200 to photograph a wedding. Now, keep in mind, that is less than my third assistant gets paid on a job. It has had no bearing on my career. It has had no impact on my career. It has done nothing to the detriment of my career. A lot of people suggest that it might ruin your career, be the cheap photographer, but remember, our careers span decades. This choice you're making right now is not the biggest deal. I'm going to tell you how much to charge in a bit, but it is not as big a deal as you think it is. Now, if it's your first time charging, it's going to be very stressful, and you're probably not going in for a big job here. So make sure, first of all, the number you come up with pays for your stress. This is something people don't talk about, but it's stressful when you're doing a shoot for money. If you're doing it for free, they get what they're given. If they're paying you a penny, they get control over what they're given. They get a say in what they're given, and you have to do what you're told. So first of all, make sure it's enough. And I have this thing I do, which is it's either a cash cow or a portfolio piece. If it's not paying you enough money to not care about the working conditions, don't do it. If it's not good for your portfolio, don't do it. It has to be one of the two. Every now and again, a commission comes in, which is a shed load of money, and it's exactly what you want to do for your portfolio. This is rare. It's happened once in the last 3 years for me, but they're the two reasons to do it. Now, this is what people used to do. This is what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't, and I don't know where this advice keeps coming from because it is so dated, you shouldn't work out all of your overheads, how much money you want to make in a year, and divide it by how many days you want to shoot per year. This is the most stupid advice I've ever heard. And people keep coming to me and ask them, where did you get your pricing structure from? Oh, well, what I did was I worked out my overheads. And it's like, but the client doesn't care about your overheads. They don't care. They care about what they can afford. Here's how you should do it. And you need to go and do some research here. I'm going to give you some figures at the end of this of what people pay locally around here as well in the UK. And it'll translate elsewhere. But you need to go and do some research and find out, and this is really important here, what the market will bear. If every cafe, and you're a cafe photographer, for example, can afford £200 and you're charging £250, you're not getting any work. If every wedding couple in your area spends $2,000 on a wedding and you're charging $2,700, you're not going to get any work. And you might be going, yes, but with all my overhead, throw that all away. What you need to do is go, well, if every wedding couple spends £2,000 on average, I need to build a business under that. Don't build a business and then price it. Work out what the market will bear and then build your business underneath it. And I know you're going, well, yes, but then I can't afford to shoot on the latest mirrorless camera system. Well, your couple doesn't care. The cafe doesn't care. Your local actor needing a headshot for £200 doesn't care. They want a good photograph. You go, well, I need this kit to do that. I need this to... That is how businesses fail. That is how photographers fail. You need to work out what the market will bear. Now, I'm a bit out of touch locally, so I've not worked locally for a very long time. So these prices might be slightly out. Generally speaking, go and shoot in a nightclub in my city, they'll pay you 50 quid. That's it. It's peanuts. You can't turn up there with a brand new camera. Go and shoot an event, it's probably around 250 to 350, or at least it was. It might have changed now. You're going to shoot a wedding, it's about £2,000 a day. You're going to do a day's corporate work, not commercial, corporate work, it's about $750 a day. That's going to your local branch of the bank and shooting everyone's headshots, doing some shots of people in action, you know, the sort of thing. A local headshot, maybe 150 to 200 at a push. Some environmental portraits, maybe 450 for the day's work. Wouldn't be a full day, probably half to 2/3 of a day. A commercial job for an ad agency in my city, they don't tend to want to pay more than £1,200. But also the work reflects that. They don't have the big jobs. So when they do get the big jobs, they do get bigger budgets. But generally speaking, it's always small work, last minute, low usage, below the line, that sort of thing. So it's all about working out what the market will bear. I want to know in the comments below, what you charge for your first ever job. Is it as low as mine? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and let me know why you picked that number. It'd be great to see. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.